Hi guys, this is Chris and Rich from Retro Sanctuary, and welcome to Retro Weekends, where we try to complete the most notable games from gaming history.
Today we're going to attempt to complete Mega Man for the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is a platform game released in 1987 for the system, and it's actually a childhood favourite for me. I was always a massive fan of Mega Man games back when I was a kid. So have you played the game?
No, I've played the second one on the little mini NES, which you can buy nowadays, but I've not actually played this. So this is going to be a bit of an experience for me.
Second one was obviously total classic, but this is where it all began. So you want to get to it then?
Yeah, let's go.
So we'll start off with Guts Man. Okay. So anyone not familiar with the Mega Man games, you get to choose what level you want to do first. So every time you defeat a boss as well, you get a new special move, and some special moves are more useful in different stages. So there usually is a best order to do the bosses in. Right.
Ooh.
Obviously this is going to be the hardest boss out of the first lot because we don't have the power up to kill him.
Just make sure he doesn't pick up a rock. When he does, then you've got to avoid it.
Alright, so we've defeated the first boss here. So you get a power up from each boss you defeat. Sort of you steal their abilities essentially. So if you press start, you can see there's Gutsman's power. Gutsman allows you to grab rocks, pick them up and throw them. So
like that?
Yeah, exactly like that.
Do I have any...
That's the only ability you have whilst he's on there, so you got to swap back again.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
But it does do a lot of damage, and it's actually very, very damaging against Cutman as well.
Thing is, these things are nippy, and I've already lost... Oh, jeez, I need to be high to get them.
The sort of the bad guys on Mega Man are bad guys that
Jesus!
That you sort of learn to react to over time.
Oh, they're going to kill me.
You need to hit them. Yeah, just make sure you shoot them when they're far away from you. When they get close, they're a bit of a pain.
Oh, like this, man.
That's it.
Played. I need to get down there, though.
He throws a boomerang.
I needed to get down there.
Oh, no.
Fuck you.
Right, took off about half his health, so yeah, you need to.
He's so fucking fast.
Okay, that's not as bad as I thought. So long as you hit him with, if you got the first hit, you would have done it basically, wouldn't you?
Let's go, Cutman. I feel like I have to avoid him first, then pick up a rock, then he stands still when he throws that. Okay. Ah, I knew it. Fuck you. Right now.
This was a bit of a mess in the end. Try and get his move down and work out. I mean, he is killable anyway. Oh, you've done it!
You went the wrong way.
No, I didn't.
No. You've played this game too much.
I had the Game Boy games mainly. That's what I mainly played at the back. When I was a kid, I mainly played the Game Boy games because I didn't have a Nintendo until like my early teens.
Yeah. You're not going to hit that guy.
But I did have Mega Man 1 on the Game Boy, and the Game Boy games actually used bosses from different games, so they might have half from Mega Man 1 and half from Mega Man 2. Kind of thing. This is where you need to have Gutsman's move to get this thing over here.
What is it?
So now we can make little platforms that we can stand on.
Okay.
You can see the bar goes down like every other move essentially.
Oh. Killed him.
Yeah, so that's the thing with the boss fights. When you know the order, it's very, very easy. If you do them out of order, you have to learn the patterns down pat, perfectly to just dodge every attack. And obviously, it's sort of like a rock paper scissors going on here, isn't there? Where one boss will be strong against another boss, he'll be strong against another boss.
Cutman even looks like he's got scissors on his head.
Yeah.
Oh, where am I going? I can't make that jump.
Just cheese it. Cheese it with the move that creates a platform.
Oh, okay, yeah. Forgot about that.
Now these sections are in a lot of the Mega Man games, and you can usually just cheat them with like this move like this. Unfortunately, as a kid, I never really understood this, so I ended up learning the patterns for all of these blasted sections, and they would take me forever. I would take hours like learning to jump before a platform would appear, essentially.
Oh, I'm all going to drop down. Get off the ladder. I'm not worried. I'm worried. Oh,
You hit the flame.
The fucking flame!
Oh, that was exactly where the midpoint was.
Didn't you know that?
No.
Look, I've done it again. Shut up! You're a prick. Dum dum today.
It does just suddenly disappear though.
I mean, that wasn't that bad.
It works a lot better than I thought, that thing, actually, doesn't it? You see why it's best to get that as early as possible, really. I think we got on that was the second level we got on.
Dr. Willy.
It's Dr. Wily. Also,
it looks like Einstein.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Apparently, he actually is based on Einstein, and the character Mega Man's mentor is based on Father Christmas. So it's sort of like Father Christmas versus Einstein kind of thing.
Now that's a movie I'd pay to watch.
I love his eyebrows. Have you seen the box art for the American version of this?
No.
It's I think it's often voted the worst box art of all time, pretty much.
Jesus.
Yeah, apparently the guy got one of his mates to draw it for him, like a day or two before the game was released. So they just didn't have time to do it properly. Our box art's still not perfect, because it's sort of like realistic, half-realistic artwork, like fantasy-style artwork, but it's a big improvement over the American one, which is just sort of like the perspective is awful, the drawing is terrible. Mega Man looks sort of like a middle-aged man wearing like a Tron outfit, basically.
Boss time. What boss? What?
I don't know what it is. Oh, it might be the tile boss. There's a boss that splits himself up and then reforms himself on the other side of the screen, so you've got to dodge the tile pieces.
Right.
And they always go in a specific pattern.
Jesus. Jesus. Oh, crock. Oh, what? I get one hit and then have to dodge all this bollocks.
Right, I think that did only like 2 damage or so.
Right, I'm changing to Electric Man. Can I just go past him?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Did a decent amount there, actually.
Did it?
Yeah. This bit's going to get harder.
Oh, man,
Start
that's my last
wasting
life.
stuff.
Oh dear.
I've got no lives left. Pointless,
what
I
can
ain't
you do?
killing this damn thing.
You don't know. You can dodge it.
It's been like a decade since I've done this boss. There's no way that I'm doing it on my first go.
Yeah, it is. You do it first go. Yeah, okay. Oh, jeez. A shot. I'm dead.
When the next foot one comes, jump over 2 lots.
2? Yeah, 2. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah.
At least you've got a lot of Elect Man's weapons. Oh, is that it now?
I hope this game.
I tell you, it's famous for being difficult. I mean, really, by Spectrum standards. Oh, fuck you, motherfucker. By Spectrum standards, it's probably quite easy, but by NES standards, it's pretty difficult. I mean, it's no Battletoads, but I wouldn't expect us to do this anytime soon.
See, at the moment you have all this space on the left, so you've got... Yeah, it's too close to him. And you're trying to give yourself time, but you're just too close to him. That's it. That's it. You got it down.
Don't know to be saying that.
No, it's not.
Oh, he shot me, the prick.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, when you do that jump 2, you auto miss the next one because you're already on a downward move. So if anything, you're avoiding 3. So I did move.
Right.
Nice. Well done. I told you got it down. Can you chuck a bomb down there?
Yeah. Oh, I can use electric, can't I? It fires downwards.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Ha!
That's cool.
That was electric. I know, this looks a bit final for this level. Do you remember these?
What's happening?
He's copying you. I bet whatever you do, he'll do. So you have to lead him into it. No. Oh, you were elect man. Well done.
He's not taking a lot of damage, is he?
No.
What's the easiest to dodge? With a normal weapon, you reckon?
What? Easiest to dodge. He's not going to change though, is he? Oh, he is. Yeah.
That's cool, actually.
That is cool.
Right, does he fire when I fire as well?
Did you die?
Yeah. You couldn't tell which was me. No, he's just randomly fucking firing, isn't he?
Yeah.
And jumping.
Not doing much damage though. Although he's not actually hitting you at all.
The problem is probably when you try and use other people's moves.
Yeah,
isn't it?
this is the trick. With this, all you have to do is use the lowest possible setting.
Right. Oh, we've got another level there. Oh god, it's going to be one of his things. When it gets to one of the points,
But
it drops.
I watched it. Enjoy. Fucking pussy. Oh, don't step on
God,
that
how
thing.
many of these have I got kill in a row?
Oh, slow down, thank you. Ha! Oh!
Iceman is one of the bosses I remember most from playing the Game Boy game, luckily.
Throw it where you think he is. Oh, you're going to get stuck. I know you did. Bang. Bang.
Oh, did it start me on him? Because then it's easy. No,
Yeah.
it didn't, did it?
Nice. One more, do it. You got him.
Got him. What's next?
There's no back to this wall, so you have to walk on. This must be final boss. Yeah, here he is with his UFO. That's actually a lot bigger than one.
That's doing nothing. This has multiple phases to it as well. Right, keep an eye on how many pieces of health it does the damage to.
We know
I'll
Iceman
just
does
shoot
one.
one shot and then do the next one.
Okay. Lots. You can hit him with your shield as well, don't forget. First phase. Change. It can't be fire. No fire. It doesn't do anything to him. Try ice next. That would make sense. No, ice. Hold on, did you hit him? No, it doesn't do much damage. Can't. Well, it hits multiple times.
That's not bad, is it?
Yeah.
Right, we've tried fire, we've tried ice cut. We can't use guts for anything now.
No. Electric. Multiple times, but
wasn't
not
bad.
not as bad as. No, cut is better.
And
Bomb
that's
won't,
not
bomb
doing
won't hit.
fuck all.
Bomb will never hit.
And I can't change
unless. No.
That was useless. So it's fireman then cut man.
Yeah. Oh, you nearly had him there.
At least they do give you the stuff you. If I change this, it will drop, wouldn't it?
Yes, it will.
All right.
So you're getting 2 hits, one with the fireball and one with the. Right, that's that bit. Now change up to
Cut man.
Cutman, yeah.
That must have done a decent amount of damage to me actually.
Right, that's one. Now cut. Oh, that's
So I was barely moving, able to move there. We're lucky there.
You're not doing much damage though, but you are doing multiple hits. You're doing more on the backwards because he's doing 3. He's moving with a cut. That's it? Right. What's next? It's him. What?
If we won, might have done it. Unless it's a fake ending.
Be on your guard.
Yeah, might have done
Be
it.
on your guard.
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait, however, never any battle continues until all destructible forces are defeated.
Well,
Wait.
Nah, it's not going to set up the sequels. There's like a sunset going on. Tom Tom.
I love the way the trees just abruptly end.
That is a reasonable ending, actually. It's not bad at all for 87. So many games in 87 still had no endings at all.
Father Christmas! Hooray, I've returned.
So, setting the scene, games that came out this year. Well, Castlevania came out the year before, but that was on the Famicom Disk System. So, you obviously needed an expensive add-on in Japan to be able to play Castlevania the previous year. But Castlevania did come out on cartridge this year. So, same year as the cartridge version of Castlevania. It's a year after the Ghosts and Goblins on the NES. You've played that, haven't you? So, it's a year after that. Alex Kidd in Miracle World came out a year earlier than this as well, though. And that competes quite well. That's possibly closest to this game, maybe, in competition. So I feel as though this game is amongst the best, personally, of its era, of 1987. I feel like it can stand up to most of those games pretty well. It's quite a long game. It's got its own little gimmick with the different weapons that you pick up and use. I feel like the way that you collect the weapons keeps it interesting. It keeps giving you new stuff to muck about with, and it also adds a little bit of strategy. It's nothing amazing, but it does. I feel like the weapons are sort of designed to help you with the stages, you know, and they're needed for the bosses, of course.
Definitely.
You know, early on maybe you can get away with fighting them normally, but when you had to just do that gauntlet of all the bosses in a row, you needed to know what you were doing with the weapons, really.
Yeah, you're not going to get through that unless you know what weapon does what.
The graphics are quite varied as well. I like the character design. I like all of the robot masters. I think they've got their own little cool designs. The boss fights, we said earlier, every boss in this game, even the robot master bosses, they actually have pretty good AI. I mean, compared to say DuckTales, which you said had very good boss fights.
Yeah, it did have very good boss fights, but not compared to this.
Yeah, and
the AI on this is quite
DuckTales' boss fights, they are quite reasonable, you know, and that's 1989, so that's 2 years after this. But this has 6 different robot masters, and they all have their own like AI going for them. And even then, that's nothing compared to some of those last bosses. That one that breaks up and moves pieces of him, that's kind of an iconic boss for this era, I think, actually, personally.
That's really difficult.
Quite a big boss as well, big in size, you know, quite impressive. Interesting the way that it breaks up and shifts itself across the screen. It's quite tricky. So I think that was a good boss. The final boss had 2 phases, didn't he? As well.
Nice,
He was quite a big character as well. So how did you feel about the game anyway?
You know, everything you've really said kind of resonates with me. So the level design is excellent.
Yeah.
The intricacies of making sure you're choosing the right weapon for the right job, again, very good. Even to the extent where that secret weapon that you can get, it's not so secret, but if you don't have Gutsman picking it up, it made our lives a hell of a lot easier. In fact, you cannot actually get past a certain point without it. So
a bit of exploration necessary.
Yeah,
as well,
which is nice.
It's quite a tricky game.
Tricky game.
It's quite
very
challenging.
Tricky. Yeah, challenging is the right word. And I enjoyed the music. The music was very good. Obviously, Capcom games, they're quite renowned for their music.
Definitely agree there. Music in this is great. And Mega Man games, they always have fantastic music. So they kept it up from here as well.
Storyline was nice.
There was a bit of story.
There was a little bit of story.
There's very few games that had any kind of attempt at story at the time. There's little bits in the game, isn't there? There was an ending and such.
Yeah, ending was nice.
Yeah.
Ending was nice, especially for 87.
I'd say so.
Barely any endings in it around that time. And for 87... that game just stands apart from quite a few others, doesn't it?
I feel as though in the past I may have underrated this first Mega Man game, because in some ways it might even be the most impressive Mega Man game
Because it was
in
the first.
comparison to what came out at the same time as this does stand out quite a bit. You know, obviously Mega Man 2 honed the gameplay experience, then added some more stuff, and that is a favourite.
But without Mega Man 1, you don't have Mega Man 2.
Yeah.
They learned from Mega Man 1 to make Mega Man 2. So, if anything, Mega Man 1 is a lot more impressive than Mega Man 2 because it was the first.
There is a lot of stuff. When Mega Man 2 came out in '88, the bar was much higher across the board, really. You know, in '88, Mega Man 2 is going up against obviously Bionic Commando and Contra and games like that, Super Mario Bros. 3, whereas this game, there's very little that's really competing with it. This is very impressive for the year it came out, so I'm actually personally going to give it a full score of 5 out of 5 as well. It's probably it's in the top 5 action platform games that were available at the time that it came out.
Yeah.
And the next year, they just pushed the bar high, you know.
Well, for me, I would give it a 5 out of 5 if it wasn't for the aforementioned Ghosts and Goblins. Because I do believe Ghosts and Goblins is a better game, and it came out a year earlier.
Yeah, and that was
that is a 5 out of 5 game for me.
That was the NES port of it as well. I'm not sure when the arcade version came out.
Well, that is a 5 out of 5 game for me. So this is a high 4 for me. Okay, guys, that was Mega Man for this week. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
very good game.
I'm a big fan of all of the games really in the series. I do like it.
Bit of a fanboy. Okay, guys, so if you liked it, give us a like, give us a comment, tell us what you think, and we'll see you next week with another game. Take care.
See ya.